Hi, my name is Ari Bueckers, and this is my scholarly article presentation. The topic I chose to do some research on was cancel culture, and the article that I found is called Cancel Culture, Myth or Reality. Here's just an overview of what I will be going over. First, I'm going to start with a theory and then move on to the argument, the methods, the key concepts of the article, the findings, and then the conclusion. My first question is, has anybody ever heard of cancel culture? I would think that most people have heard about cancel culture as it is something that is very prominent in today's society. You hear about celebrities getting canceled very often. It can be good in some ways and also can be bad. Cancel culture can be defined as collective strategies by activists using social pressures to achieve cultural ostracism of targets accused of offensive words or deeds. The theory that they used here is called the congruence theory, which predicts that if the broader societal culture matters in deeply conservative developing societies where traditional values prevail, it is liberal scholars who are most likely to feel silenced and thus unable to express their personal moral beliefs openly without social penalty. This study theorizes that perceptions of being silenced will depend primarily upon whether individual scholars hold moral values that are congruent with the group, community, or society. The argument that they state here is that normal society standards are mainly liberal and that is socially acceptable. If you have opposite views, you are socially, and that cancel culture has gotten out of hand. The main method that they used to get this information was surveys. The authors found that surveys were the easiest way to get the answers that they wanted. So the key concepts of the article. The first one was the dominant culture in poorer societies usually remains deeply socially conservative on many moral values, such as those concerning the importance of religion, respect from traditional sexual social norms, gender equality, marriage and family, race and ethnicity. By contrast, cultures in post-industrial societies have become far more socially liberal towards many moral issues, such as endorsing more fluid sexual and gender identities, more support for the LGBTQ plus community and their rights, same-sex marriage, acceptance of ethnic diversity, and support for racial justice and related progressive values. These types of views are more likely to dominate among younger and highly educated populations. It is said multiple times in this article that people who hold a more conservative viewpoint feel like their views are attacked and silenced, and some feel that they are excluded from many things and are afraid to share their views in fear of being attacked. And that goes along with the third bullet point that says, in this environment, people who have socially more conservative values are more likely to feel that their views are silenced. The findings in this article, they found that cancel culture is starting and already has threatened the freedom of speech apart from liberal views. And they say that the process starts with legitimate criticism of cases attracting widespread moral disapproval, like outing serial sexual abusers, which they say that is good. But then critics caution that it is a slippery slope, silencing a variety of unpopular perspectives, including racist and transphobic views, etc. They argue that this then undermines the tolerance of contrarians, which then generates groupthink and puts confirmation bias into effect in social settings. Conservatives have claimed that in recent years, they have seen a growing silence of people challenging the liberal views in many cultural spaces, which that is then limiting freedom of speech. People are concerned that there's a growing intolerance of dissenting views, especially among the progressive far left. It is argued that it silences conservative perspectives and brainwashes students into politically correct views. A quote from Trump, he said, "One of the left's political weapons is cancel culture, driving people from their jobs, shaming dissenters, and demanding total submission from anyone who disagrees." Another quote from someone is, "The goal of cancel culture is to make decent Americans live in fear of being fired, expelled, shamed, and humiliated, and driven away from society as we know it." Which all of these things mentioned in these quotes are true and things that happen very, very often, whether we realize it or not. It is also said that given cultural shifts over time, the point at which moral beliefs come to seem either appropriate or unacceptable to a group, and the parameters of appropriate expression and behavior, which flow from these views, is the subject of heated free speech wars. In conclusion, the key concepts mentioned were that conservative moral values dominates in poorer societies. Cultures in post-industrial societies are more liberal towards moral issues. People in those environments with conservative views are likelier to feel that they are silenced. The findings that were found are, we can see that cancel culture has gone too far. There is no right or wrong. Everything is just wrong. And we can see a growing silence of opposing voices and dissenting views.